Elizabeth Olsen has been photographed for the first time as a mother, stepping out in Los Angeles with her newborn for a quiet outdoor walk. The appearance marks a significant public moment for the actress, who has long maintained a private personal life and chose not to announce either her pregnancy or the arrival of her first child. Walking alongside her husband, she held a protective hat near the baby while wearing a wide-brimmed hat herself, creating a low-key yet unmistakable image of new parenthood. The outing provided the clearest confirmation that the couple's first child has been born. Neither Olsen nor her husband has issued any public statement confirming the birth, the child's name, gender, or exact date of arrival. This approach aligns with the careful privacy they have maintained throughout their relationship. The photographs, however, leave little doubt about the new chapter in their lives, showing Olsen navigating the early days of motherhood in a public setting for the first time. Olsen had spoken about the possibility of motherhood years earlier, reflecting on the challenges of balancing a demanding career with the prospect of starting a family. In past conversations, she described wondering when the right moment might arrive and recalled asking studio leadership about the practicalities of combining pregnancy with professional commitments. More recently, she has indicated that her long-term relationship gradually shifted her earlier uncertainty about marriage and children, allowing her to embrace both with greater clarity. Her partnership with Robbie Arnett began in 2017 and led to an engagement in 2019. The couple later married quietly before the period of widespread public health restrictions, a decision Olsen eventually confirmed in interviews. Their preference for privacy has remained consistent. Rather than sharing major milestones through public announcements or frequent appearances, they have favored a quieter domestic life. The decision to keep the pregnancy and birth largely private continues that pattern, treating the arrival of their child as a personal rather than public event. The recent appearance in Los Angeles therefore carries particular weight. It represents a measured step into visibility after months of deliberate seclusion around the pregnancy and birth. Olsen's choice of simple, protective clothing and the presence of her husband beside her suggest a focus on the practical realities of caring for a newborn rather than any desire for spectacle. The sunny stroll offered a brief window into their new family life without inviting prolonged attention or detailed commentary. This approach stands in contrast to the more public sharing of personal milestones that some public figures adopt. For Olsen, whose career has included high-profile roles in major franchises as well as more intimate dramatic work, the separation between professional visibility and private life has been carefully maintained. The rare appearance with her newborn does not signal a sudden change in that philosophy. Instead, it acknowledges that complete invisibility is difficult to sustain indefinitely while still preserving the core preference for privacy. The couple's history of quiet decisions, engagement, marriage, and now parenthood, forms a coherent pattern. Each major step has been handled with minimal public disclosure, allowing them to experience the moments on their own terms. The photographs from the Los Angeles outing therefore function less as a formal announcement and more as an incidental confirmation of what has already taken place within the privacy of their home. Fans and observers can see the new chapter without being given a full narrative or curated presentation. Olsen's earlier reflections on motherhood add depth to the present moment. Having once expressed uncertainty about whether marriage or children fit her vision of the future, she has arrived at a place where both have become central. The relationship with Arnett appears to have provided the foundation that made those choices feel natural rather than obligatory. Their shared preference for quiet evenings and limited public exposure has created a domestic environment in which the arrival of a child can be experienced with relative protection from external scrutiny. The appearance itself was understated. A wide-brimmed hat, a protective covering for the baby, and the simple act of walking together in the sun conveyed a sense of ordinary early parenthood rather than celebrity display. That ordinariness is itself notable. In a culture that often turns personal milestones into content, Olsen and Arnett have chosen a different path, allowing the photographs to speak for themselves without additional commentary or staged context. As the couple continues to navigate the early months of parenthood, the rare public sighting offers a single clear image of their new reality. It confirms the birth that had been the subject of speculation and shows Olsen stepping into the role of mother with the same measured privacy that has characterized her personal life for years. The moment remains theirs to define, even as the photographs circulate and invite quiet recognition of the change that has taken place. Taylor Swift has begun a solo trip to London, marking the first time the couple has been publicly separated since their wedding. While she attended a friend's wedding in the United Kingdom alongside longtime collaborators, her husband returned to professional duties with his football team, appearing at the season's first preseason game. The parallel outings represent the couple's initial steps into individual public appearances after a period of joint celebration and privacy surrounding their marriage. Swift's presence at the London wedding of recording engineers Ollie Jacobs and Laura Sisk placed her among familiar creative circles. She was joined by Sabrina Carpenter and Jack Antonoff, the latter of whom had officiated her own recent ceremony. Photographs from the event showed her wearing her wedding bands, offering a quiet public acknowledgement of the marriage while she focused on celebrating her friends. The trip also coincided with the continued visibility of her new shorter hairstyle, which she had first shown in the days leading up to the wedding. On the same day, Kelsey stepped out for his team's preseason contest, visibly wearing his own wedding band. The image of him returning to the field while she attended a private celebration underscored the practical realities of balancing personal milestones with professional schedules. Their wedding, held at Madison Square Garden, had been attended by a wide circle of friends, colleagues, and public figures, yet many specific details remained closely held. Reports indicated that the vows themselves occupied a substantial portion of the ceremony, and that a notable musical performance was included as a personal tribute. The couple's relationship, which began in the autumn of 2023 and progressed to an engagement the following year, has been characterized by a mixture of public visibility and deliberate privacy around key moments. Their decision to keep formal wedding photographs and many ceremonial details out of immediate circulation continues that approach. Guests have described the atmosphere as surprisingly intimate despite the scale of the venue and the number of attendees, suggesting careful attention to the emotional tone of the evening. Swift's solo travel so soon after the wedding reflects the demands of her own professional and personal commitments. Attending a friend's celebration in another country while her husband resumed training and competition illustrates the practical division of schedules that many couples navigate. The visible presence of their wedding bands during these separate outings provides a consistent thread connecting the two appearances and affirming the recent change in their status. The London wedding itself offered a gathering of creative peers. Jacobs and Sisk have long collaborated with Swift on recording projects, making her attendance both a personal and professional gesture of support. The presence of other musicians and producers further reinforced the sense of a close-knit creative community celebrating one of its own. Swift's choice of attire and the display of her rings allowed her to participate fully while still marking the personal significance of her own recent marriage. Kelsey's return to the field carried its own symbolism. Appearing in team colors with his wedding band visible connected the private commitment of the summer to the public demands of the coming season. The preseason game represented the beginning of a new competitive cycle, one that would require focus and physical preparation after the celebrations of the off-season. His brief public comments about the wedding having been the best night of his life offered a personal note amid the professional context. Together, the parallel appearances illustrate how the couple is beginning to integrate their marriage into the ongoing rhythms of their separate careers. Swift's travel and social commitments continue, while Kelsey's athletic calendar resumes. The shared display of wedding bands during these independent outings serves as a quiet public affirmation of the bond formed in July. As they move forward, the balance between joint privacy and individual professional obligations will likely remain a defining feature of their public life. The decision to keep many wedding details private has allowed the couple to control the narrative of their own milestone. Rather than saturating public channels with images and descriptions, they have permitted selective glimpses, bands worn in public, brief comments from guests, and the knowledge of who attended, while reserving the fuller experience for themselves and those present. Swift's solo London trip and Kelsey's return to the field represent the next phase of that approach. Living the marriage in real time, across different locations and responsibilities, while still carrying visible markers of the commitment they made.